All right, joining us now to discuss all this week's news, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy is with us. Senator, two things really struck me today as I watched the president, and I thought it was deep and I thought it was profound. And if he can achieve it, it would be beyond historic. And that was saying to the Saudis, join the Abraham Accords, and also sending a very loud message again to Iran that you can have peace if you want it, but you're not going to be a nuclear state. He's been very, very clear. There's no ambiguity. Reaction.
Well, I think Iran, to me, is obviously the most important issue. Allowing Iran, the Ayatollah, to have a nuclear weapon is unthinkable. If he gets a nuclear weapon, there's going to be a war in the Middle East. And it won't be because we started it. It won't be because Iran started it. Israel will jump on. They'll bomb Iran immediately. The president has to be very firm with Iran, and he has to agree, in my judgment, to no nuclear power whatsoever, not military and not civilian. And he has to make it very clear we can do this the easy way, the hard way. We want to reach an agreement with Iran. If they give up their nuclear capabilities, we will take the sanctions off. If not, we reserve the right to hit them so hard they'll cough up bones. And that's just the way it is. Joe Biden couldn't pull that off, but Donald Trump can.
Let me ask you, Senator, because when you were last on the program, we were talking about trade and tariffs. And what you said on this program is you hope that the president is able to get one deal after another after another. Great Britain, I don't think, really surprised everybody, but it was a good deal for the U.S. This is 60 years that friend and foe alike is kind of taking advantage of us, right? Yep. So we have an opportunity here to really get things right, which I think is critical. And then China. What do you make of that deal? And what message do you think it sends to the rest of the world? And Scott Bessent said 130 countries are lined up.
Well, I think it's obvious. Unless you're the reason that your parents drank, you see that it was a big victory, not just for President Trump, but for America. Before the president did what he did, China's tariffs on the United States were a little over 20% on average. Now they're 10. Our tariffs on China were a little over 20. Now they're 30. That's a 20-point swing. Now, I've listened all day to some of my Democratic colleagues say that, well, we didn't get anything for it. You know, if you believe that, I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope the dumbest person in the world doesn't die. It was a clear victory. The other point I would make, I think Trump understands how to deal with China. Look, the Chinese, not the people of China, I'm speaking about the Chinese Communist Party. They're thieves. They steal with both hands. They will steal your socks without taking off your shoes. That's how they've gotten rich. We let them into the World Trade Organization on December 11th of 2001. They started cheating December 12th. And Trump was the first president, he did this in the first term, to ever stand up to China and say, stop the stealing. And now he's doubled down, and it's working. We still got a long way to go. China cheats in other ways besides tariffs, with quotas and subsidies and stealing intellectual property. But this is a hell of a good start.
I mean, so much other news. I mean, drug prices for Americans will go down 30 to 80%. Hopefully, Putin and Zelensky can have a good meeting. I understand the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, will be a big part of that. Then you can look at the role that maybe they played in lowering the tensions between India and Pakistan. And the thing that maybe infuriated me the most is, and we'll be in Qatar tomorrow night broadcasting, is the issue of the plane. Our largest military base here in the Middle East happens to be in Qatar. You know how much the Qataris have spent since 2003 on our military base, over $8 billion. And you know what? I didn't hear anybody complain about the $8 billion that they invested or the military technology that we give them that helps secure their nation, just like here in Saudi Arabia. So I just think it's part of an overall, you have to look at big picture sometimes, don't you, when it comes to the issue of the plane?
Well, I think most Americans understand what's going on with the Democratic Party. They're on their back foot, and they're trying to their leader is Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, and she years ago she took a sharp left, and kept driving, and she's moving their party to the left, and she's losing the American people, and the president keeps hitting them with one blow after another. So the plane business is just one among a number of straws that my Democratic colleagues are grasping at. Them saying, well, the deal with China makes no difference. You know, that's patently absurd, and they know that, but that's all they have, Sean.
I always knew that China would need access to our markets, and I think it will be mutually beneficial and long-term, and America standing up for itself and not being taken advantage of and abused is actually refreshing, because that's been institutionalized for 60 years. Senator Kennedy, we love having you. It's only like 4:30 something in the morning here, but we appreciate you being with us as always.